Hello and welcome to another episode of Death by Bungee. I've gotten a lot of requests here recently from people asking me about getting hunting licenses. People who are new to hunting, not only new to crossbows, but new to hunting in general. Very interested in getting a hunting license, don't have one yet. And so I figured I'd do a video for folks who are new to hunting, new to getting a hunting license. This is the first in a series of 3 videos just sort of describing the process, at least as far as it applies to me. Now, even if you're not new to hunting, even if you're an old hat, some of this will be kind of interesting to you. And I hope you'll take the time to watch these videos and leave important comments for other people to help them navigate these waters of becoming licensed to hunt. That being said, the first video we're going to talk about is me. I'm going to sort of give you the background on my Pennsylvania hunting license, and I'm going to go through the process about how I did that and give you some tips and tricks for hunting in Pennsylvania. Some of this may be applicable in other states. The second part of this video series will be about getting your license for hunting elk in Pennsylvania. I'm going to go through the lottery system, how I did it, give you some pointers about that, and it might be generally applicable to any of the other lotteries that you might want to enter as far as getting some of those tags that are harder to come by. We'll talk about that a little bit too. And then the third part of this video series will be me going online to buy my license to hunt in Maryland. I'm very excited about that. Anybody who watches Death by Bungee knows I love going to Maryland, and there's some good discussions in there. Now, again, even if you're not new to hunting, you're going to get something out of these videos. So please stay tuned and watch them. It's important to point out that the upcoming 2019 Death by Bungee meet and greet, that boar hunt that I have scheduled that's coming up here. You can see some information about that here on Death by Bungee on the YouTube channel, but also check out the Facebook page, or you can check out deathbybungee.com for more information on that. And if you are interested in joining us for that meet and greet, and meet is spelled M-E-A-T, courtesy of Gary Rose, that was his idea, and I kind of stole it from him with his permission, but I thought that was a neat little way to call this. We're basically getting together at a boar hunt, a boar preserve, having a great time. So if you want to join in on that, please check out deathbybungee.com. Please go check that out. In a hunt like that, you don't actually need a hunting license. You're going to want to check anytime you take part in one of these things. You're going to want to check and make sure. But if you're joining us for the upcoming meet and greet, you will not need a Pennsylvania hunting license for that. The reason for that is that boar hunting behind a fence in a preserve situation in Pennsylvania is handled by the Department of Agriculture within our state, not our Department of Game, not our Game Commission, our Department of Wildlife Services, that sort of thing, not our Department of Natural Resources, the way it's done in many other states. Because of that, you don't need a hunting license. You just need to comply with their private property rules and other obvious rules and laws and make sure you're complying with that. But basically, you will not need a hunting license to take part in that meet and greet. One other thing that's very important to point out about this whole process as we go forward, I'm talking specifically about Pennsylvania and Maryland in this video. I am not talking about other states, and some of what I talk about here might be similar in the state where you are. It might be different. The other thing I want to point out is I am a lawyer, but I'm not giving you legal advice. Getting a hunting license, complying with hunting laws and regulations is your responsibility where you hunt. You're going to want to contact the Game Commission, whatever government department is responsible for hunting in your area. Contact them, get their information, and follow up with that. That is a good place to start. In Pennsylvania, for example, if you were to go ahead and get a Pennsylvania hunting license, this year they're giving these to us again. This is the Hunting and Trapping Digest for Pennsylvania. This is all your wildlife rules, everything set up in one booklet. It is a summary. It is not the actual law. If you want to read the actual law, you can go online to a variety of sources. But this is a summary set forth by the Game Commission to help people comply with the laws. If you get in trouble, you are expected to know what's in here. But by the same token, just because it says it in here does not necessarily mean that it is accurate. The law is the law. This is a summary, and if this is inaccurate, then you're still responsible for what the actual law says. So this is a great place to start to get your mind around things, to sort of understand what's going on with it, but it is not the be-all, end-all, and you do need to look at the actual website if you have questions. Anything from what weapon you can use and when, that will be answered in here. But most importantly, what is in the digest, what is online, that is what matters, what the actual law is. So you have to go ahead and look at that. In this little baggie, I just want to show you, I have 2 orange cards, and this is my exhibit for the next little part of this video. But this is a hunter trapper education card for Rich Wilson, for me, and another one for my daughter, Genevieve, right here. And we each had one. We went and took the hunter safety course together. Now, in Pennsylvania, I took that course back when I was 12 years old. And you have to take one before you can get a hunting license in Pennsylvania. If I started hunting at the age of 30, would I still have to take that course? Yes, you do have to take that course. Before you get your first license, you have to take it. And then you sign the back of it, keep it. I don't have to take the course every year. When I get a new license, I either log on online, go to the courthouse, go to a participating sporting goods store, wherever I am going to buy a hunting license. I simply indicate that I do in fact have proof somewhere that I took that class. Now, just to make sure that I have that, I actually keep these cards so that I can have it later on if need be. And I have those in my possession. And when my daughter came time for her to go take that class, I went with her so that I could retake the class. I took it a second time. But now we both have cards. That way, if she ever decides to get her hunting license, she has not become licensed yet to hunt, but she does have this out of the way. Another interesting thing to point out about these, if you ever go hunt in some places, I think, for example, Colorado, if you go to Colorado to hunt, you have to have that card in your possession. In addition to your hunting license, you actually have to have the card in your possession if you're going to go hunt there. So that's very important. I think it's important to know that that's a requirement. It's important to have that. I was just talking to one of you guys online here, one of the FOBs, one of the friends of Bungie. I was speaking with him online, looking at messages and stuff, and he's indicating to me for the first time that he's going hunting with his crossbow, and he is taking what they call a field day down in Maryland. You have to attend the field day before you can hunt. And I think what he's talking about, when I looked it up, the field day is what they call this hunter's education class down there in Maryland. Pennsylvania, they call it simply hunter trapper education. Once you've got that, you are able to go online and buy your license. In my case, I've done that over the years, and some things you got to do online. Some things are easier online. But this year, I work at the courthouse, okay, in my home county here in Pennsylvania. And I went in and bought my license. Went into the county treasurer there, and I said, I want my hunting licenses. And she said, okay, what's your number? She got some information from me. She brought me right up on the computer. And she sold me my licenses. I gave her some cash and left. And she printed them all out right there, so I have all of them with me. And that includes, what I bought was my hunting license up here. And then in addition to that, I also bought this year the archery privilege so that I can hunt with my crossbow. Archery includes crossbows. So I can hunt all through our crossbow season. That's what most people call the archery season, but I call it the crossbow season. That 37 days of awesome here in Pennsylvania, which they toyed with the dates again this year. I'll be talking about that in another video, I'm sure. But anyway, I do have the archery privilege. That allows me to hunt through any of our big game seasons with the crossbow. So that's awesome. In addition to that, I also bought a spring turkey tag so that I can go hunt spring gobbler. I did not buy the second spring gobbler tag. I buy one every year. I didn't buy one this year because I have yet to shoot a spring gobbler with a crossbow. And until I shoot the first one, I don't need the second one. I'm not going to buy a second tag until I shoot the first one. So it is what it is. I'm not worried about that so much. If I shoot one, I will be happy. I do have the fall turkey tag, so I can shoot one of those. I have a bear tag as well. Now, the interesting thing, this is very important. If you are interested in hunting bears in Pennsylvania, and it may be the same elsewhere where you hunt, when you're out there hunting, you got to have your hunting license in your possession. If a bear comes by, if that bear is in season and you want to take a shot, you had better already have a bear privilege, a bear stamp, a bear tag, okay, purchased and in your possession. You had better have already bought that, because once the bear season's open, you can't buy one of those tags. It's closed. The sale of the tags is closed. So you got to buy it now. If you shoot one and think, oh, then I'm going to go buy a tag now and make it legal. Can't do that. They're going to catch on pretty quick with that. So the easy way to get in trouble, the easy way to not get in trouble is to buy it. And that way, if I'm out in the tree stand hunting during archery and I see a bear, I'm taking a shot at the bear. And I know if it's legal. I'll know the seasons because I'm going to be looking at my digest. But I know that I legally can take that shot because I have that privilege. I've already purchased that stamp ahead of time. That it's actually a bear permit, I think is what they call it. Bear ear tag is what it says on here. It says bear ear tag, but I think that is actually it's a credential, right? It's a privilege to hunt that bear. Now, I keep all of these in this, and here's another interesting thing about your hunting licenses. Up until recently in Pennsylvania, you had to display this. You had to have this in the back on one of these little things, and then you would hang this on the back of your coat when you're walking around, hang it on your garment. You can hang it from your waist, you can hang it wherever, as long as it's displayed outside. They did away with that. You don't have to do that anymore in Pennsylvania, I don't believe. So you don't have to worry about that. You have to have it on you. And I, lots of times, will pin this to my backpack, either in it or just throw this in the backpack and have it handy. And I use it every year. And I throw my Maryland stuff in here too. We're going to go online here shortly, purchase the Maryland credentials, the Maryland licenses, and then I will place them when I print them out, put them right in that little holder as well. There are a ton of other things you can purchase for hunting. You can go goose hunting, duck hunting. Those are lots of times, because those birds migrate, go across state lines. Those are also, not only do you have to have your state hunting privileges, but you also have to have a federal duck stamp, a federal permission or privilege to hunt those animals, because they're considered migratory birds. So that's another thing that you might run into if you want to get into that line of hunting. This is a crossbow hunting channel, and I don't hunt geese. I shot a goose a long time ago, and I don't hunt ducks and all that stuff. Every time I go to Maryland, my guides are like, do you want to come down and hunt geese with us and hunt ducks with us? And maybe someday I'll take them up on that. I appreciate the fact that that exists. I love the fact that people can use dogs as tools in their hunting and hunt as sort of as a partner with their dog. I just think that's fascinating. But I am really hooked on crossbow hunting. That's what I like. That's what I do. And that's what this channel is about. And that's why I'm going to do that. So until they make it legal to hunt geese with a crossbow, I'm not going to be doing that. And until they make it practical to hunt geese with a crossbow, I certainly am not going to do it. So, but I have at it. So if you're into the geese, you're into the Canada geese, you're into the snow geese, what have you, you'll have to buy different licenses, different permissions to do that. Another thing that you have to buy a special license for, perhaps in Pennsylvania, is your Doe Permit. Now, to do that, we have this antiquated but very special tradition here in Pennsylvania involving these guys. Do you guys recognize this? Anybody recognize this? This is your Doe license permit envelope that you mail in. You have to mail that in, and it cannot be received early. It has to be received no sooner than a certain date. Whoever gets there first, when they run out, they run out. That's how it is. So what you do to do that, I did a separate video on that. You can go check it out if you're interested in that. And I thought it was pretty interesting, because not every place in the world has that kind of a setup. It's kind of a antiquated system. When I go to Maryland, I buy a hunting license, and it allows me to shoot a buck and 15 does. And I'm not exaggerating. I think the number is 15. I think that's the maximum does you can shoot. And actually, I think it lets me shoot 2 or 3 bucks, plus a Sika deer and 2 hinds. So a Sika stag and 2 hinds. So you can shoot like 18 deer for your license down there. It's nuts, but it's wonderful and beautiful. And I think that's the reason I keep going back. You know what I mean? Customer service, my friends. It is a market. Hunting is a market. And when I look at other states like Maryland, I just have such a great time down there. I'll go down there every year. I'm going there twice this year. Can you believe that? And I hunt in Pennsylvania. More people hunt in Pennsylvania than any other state or close to it. It's one of the top states for numbers of hunters. And I shoot deer here every year. I have access to deer every year. Got lots of deer. Have a great time. But I still love the fact that and it's so awesome that we can travel someplace else and hunt elsewhere as well. I want to show you this. This is the map. Now, this is that digest I was showing you. If you look in here, they have a map for us, and I'll put it on the screen here. But basically, the way Pennsylvania is divided, it is divided into wildlife management units. And they take the whole state. Now, it's not county by county. It has more to do with, and this makes sense to me, it has more to do with geographic structures, like certain highways, valleys, rivers, that sort of thing. And they divide up the state into smaller groups where they can manage the deer in there. And the way we distribute these Doe permits depends on the management unit that you want to hunt in. Now, I hunt primarily in 3C. That's where I grew up, and that's where I hunt, is 3C, or real close to 3B. So what I do is I ask for a 3C Doe permit, and I keep asking for the 3C Doe permits until they run out, and then I try to get a 3B, so that in case I run out of permits here, I can always go across the river, try and hunt on the other side of the river in one of the state game lands or something like that. So you got to plan up ahead of time where you want to go hunting. Pretty cool. I get a kick out of that stuff. So if you are interested in that, and if that is something that you want to learn more about, grab one of those digests, ask for it. Incidentally, last year, they stopped giving you the digest. You had to buy it separate. and they would mail it to you. People threw a fit about that. One thing Pennsylvania hunters don't like is changing the Pennsylvania hunting tradition. We like to stick with the tradition that we have, stick with it the way it is, and not change it. And the Game Commission, and I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, because I think there's plenty of things we should be able to change. Even hunting on Sunday, people are like, no, I don't want the freedom to hunt on Sunday. I want the government to decide when I get to hunt. To me, if I can hunt on Sunday, the more days, the better. I think it should, it's nuts that I can't hunt on Sunday. If you don't want to hunt on Sunday, that's totally appropriate. I get that some people wouldn't want to hunt on Sunday. But man, don't tell me that I shouldn't hunt on Sunday. I just don't get that. But whatever. And, in addition to that, boy, when they changed it so that you weren't getting that digest in the mail, people threw a fit. I don't want to pay extra for that. And I get that, whatever. So now they will give you that with your license. And when I bought my license at the courthouse, they gave me that physical copy. So there you go. I want to say also, it was actually quicker for me to go in the courthouse. A woman that I graduated from high school with works behind the counter at the county treasurer's office. I went in there, told her I wanted my hunting license. She asked me for my social security number, and I had my license, walked out of there and had paid for it and had a receipt and my little digest book in less than 5 minutes. It was crazy. I could not believe how quick it was and efficient it was. And now they have all these little computers set up to handle these Doe permits. So they'll be doing that for the next several months. So if you're going to get into this stuff and you're going to be hunting in Pennsylvania, get that Doe permit going now. Start figuring that process out. Watch that other video. Okay, that's all I have for you on this part of the video. This was part 1 of the series on getting hunting licenses. Make sure you check out part 2. That'll be coming your way very shortly. And of course, part 3 about getting the license in Maryland is coming also. Until next time, all hail Bungie.